Welcome to the Weekly Reference. I'm Mark. I love movies. Let's talk about them. You can listen and watch on YouTube, or you can listen to as a podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else you get your podcast from. Just look up the movie reference. On this week's episode, it's kind of DC centric, to be honest with you. There's a nice piece of information that we received regarding Superman, in the words of James Gunn. Also, a little tidbit update information about some scripts that are being worked on in the DC universe. And lastly, tickets are on sale now for Superman, and there's a new trailer. So let's get into it. So Entertainment Weekly got this really cool exclusive interview with James Gunn and David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. They did a cool little cover. It's really cute. You should check it out if you get a chance to. But of course, I zeroed in on what James Gunn had to say. And there's this quote that really stood out to me that I really want to zero in on, because not only does it describe the character of Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El, but it also takes the comic book, what a comic book film can be, and make it transcend and make it relevant to today's world, to be a direct reflection of today's world. And so I'm going to read the quote, and then this is the quote. I wanted to tell the story about someone who was truly good in a world that doesn't value goodness, in a world that makes fun of basic kindness and basic human values, end quote. If that's not relevant today, whether he intentionally said it or unintentionally did it, whatever, it's still like, wow, that got to be the foundation of what's going on outside these walls, right? Things that are happening to people on an everyday thing. And the fact that we have Superman, who's been this prominent figure in all of our lives, especially comic book fans' lives, for 87 years. He's been this figure that we all want to strive for. No, we don't shoot lasers out of our eyes, and no, we can't fly. But he's the kind of the definition of what a superhero is and meant to be. And to think about it, this is an alien who crash lands on Earth, but he's the embodiment of humanity. So this is exactly what I'm looking for. And even in the trailer, when Lois and Clark, or Superman in the interview, right, they're having that interview moment, and he specifically tells her, like, I wasn't representing anybody except for me and doing good. Like, that's what we all should be striving for. Doing good and being decent human beings on a human level. Like, come on. Like, I was a teacher for 5 years, and we instilled every single day in the students to be responsible, be respectful, and be caring. And then you kind of take that back and like, man, I've learned these values my whole life as well, going through the public school system. But I also learned it because my father was a police officer, and that was, he was kind of strict growing up. But hey, you know what? He taught me the right things, though, the right way to behave. And at the same time, taught me from right from wrong. Like, I knew what I could do and not do. So, and listen, we can just dissect every human being. We're all complicated layers of just shades of goodness, badness, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, what we prioritize is what kind of defines us. But there recently, my sister-in-law had posed this question, and she's got me thinking about it. But it's like this, like, when you pass, what is the statistic you want to see displayed, like, before, when you go up there or whatever. And I was kind of thinking, I had a bunch of different things, but lately I've been thinking about, man, what I would like to know is, was I as good as I thought I was? Like, what's the statistic on that? I feel like I'm like at 88, 89%. I don't know. It could be worse. Who knows? I know I'm not in the 90s. But I really do strive to be a really good person. I try to be a good friend, a good father, a good husband. That's what I strive for. Do I drop the ball? Yeah. Do I let my frustration get the best of me? Absolutely. Have I let people down? Yeah. But at the same time, all I do is strive to be the best I can be and to do good, to provide good in this world. What's more interesting about James Gunn comments is it made me start thinking about, well, I really love the anti-hero. I really do. But I love the hero more. There's a reason why I gravitate towards heroes like a Ethan Hunt or Superman, Captain America, Spider-Man. There's a reason why we gravitate towards characters who are morally indestructible, who are there to protect for the greater good, right? obligated to protect the greater good, and to be beacon of hope to those who are lost. That's why we idolize them. It brings me back to Man of Steel when Lois asked, what's the S stand for? What does Kal-El say? It's not an S. On my world, it means hope. And that's what I feel like with the Superman film. I feel hopeful. I feel like, yes, I'm gonna go to see this, 2 hour plus movie. I mean, it's like 2 hours, 10 minutes, whatever. And I'm gonna feel that goodness, I'm gonna feel good about it. Like I'm gonna be rooting for a hero that is the embodiment of humanity and how we should all be acting. I mean, judging by his comments, yeah. I mean, that's why Superman 87 years. He's 87 years old. He's been in our lives. And lately, it feels like we've been living in Bane's world from The Dark Knight Rises. Theatricality and deception are powerful agents to the uninitiated. And it's been sad, man. It's been sad. We already have to deal with monsters, people who commit crimes, people who want to do harm to others. And we have that sliver of hope that the justice system is actually going to prevail, that justice will be served, right? Just like we have the hope that we can exercise our rights whenever we feel like something is wrong. Well, whoa, this isn't right. This isn't right. We should be able to fight for our right to do it in the right way, like a protest, and not be met with force or harm. It's a basic, simple thing that humans can do to be like, hey, yeah, I'm not liking what you're doing over here. Can we do something else? Like, can we figure a different way? And to see that people are being used as examples or distractions or to instill fear in the world we live in, it's an abuse of power, man. It's like, this is too much. So you see Superman, who is a hero who has tremendous power. I mean, he has incredible powers. And yet, what does he do? He lends a hand to his fellow man. He protects the innocent. The only time he shows any type of force is if there's an opposition threatening to harm someone or has harmed someone. And so he has to use his power to stop this, right? Because that's real power. He doesn't choose sides. They say in the trailer, he stopped a war because people were going to die. So these comments were like, I really enjoyed how he phrased it. I really enjoy how it's like a direct representation of the character that we all know and love, and that it's a reflection of the world. And it's something that I think that we, at the very least, will transcend the comic book genre, right? Whether you like comic books or not, maybe it's going to speak to a large audience, and that's what I'm hopeful for. Like I said, I was a teacher for 5 years. We only talked about the 3 B's: being responsible, be responsible, be respectful, be caring. And it just feels like some of that core values is missing from the world, and it's super sad. And we need Superman more than ever, or super people. And I want to end this segment with one more quote. This one's actually coming from The Amazing Spider-Man. I know. It's what Ben Parker says to Peter Parker. And it's, your father, he lived by a philosophy, a principle, really. He believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things. That's what's at stake here. Not choice, responsibility. Entertainment Weekly also got to know a little bit more about what DC Studios may be cooking up. James Gunn didn't offer a lot of details, but obviously certain things are in certain levels of development. But the one thing I want to point out is, with all this press that's with Superman and regarding any interviews about DC, like with Josh Horowitz, he's been consistent. He said the same thing. Story is king. That in the Gods and Monsters announcement video, he said storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. He's been consistent. No movie is going to be approved or slated until a script is approved. That's why we haven't seen the Batman Part 2. We're still waiting on it, right? And that's what I love about his approach. It's like, and Peter Safran it's like, yo, once we have the script, then we're good. We can go into it. And even with the Gods and Monsters announcement, It's not like he said, "Oh, this is coming out. This is the order that is coming out." It's like, no, these are the 10 projects that we have in some type of development, right? You'll know more as we proceed, but at this moment. So, what I thought was interesting is I went back and I rewatched his announcement video, and I also went back to an episode that David and I did for the Mark Denny podcast, and we talked all things about DC, and there were certain things in there that popped up. If you're interested in it, the audio is not great, but if you're interested in it, there was some cool stuff. Like David mentioned that I hope they bring the trunks back, and which they did, and that's when Superman was called Superman Legacy, and all this stuff. It's a really cool conversation with David and I. But I went back to rewatch Gods and Monsters, and it's this 8 to 10 year plan, right? That's supposed to start with Creature Commandos, right? That's the foundation. That's the start. That's the appetizer that we were going to get. Even the announcement, there was no announcement that there was going to be any Justice League. And that's been further confirmed with this Entertainment Weekly interview that there's still no Justice League, right? We're not touching it yet. We're not there yet. And so, okay, let me run through the list so that way you guys can get an idea if you don't remember what he said. Creature Commandos, right? The animated series, all the episodes are out. Pretty solid series. I enjoyed that. Those characters are some kooky characters. Waller is a series as well. Is probably the only project that it's not in terms of that it was announced, but I don't know where it's at. I don't know if it's been delayed or not, because Peacemaker 2 is coming out now in August. And originally, I the conversation with David and I were like, oh, is Waller supposed to come out before Peacemaker 2? I think maybe they got shifted a little bit. Superman, the true beginning of the DCU, that comes out July 11th. They've consistently stuck with that. I mean, even in the conversation I had with David, we couldn't believe, like, they're already starting with Superman and it's going to be out in 2 years. I don't know. And they made it, man. They made their date, July 11th. That's incredible. Lanterns, it's a series. It's filming right now. Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre are in it, and I'm so excited for that series. Excuse me. Then The Authority is a film. Paradise Lost is a series. The Brave and the Bold is this Batman and Robin film. Booster Gold is a series. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is the film, and that one they already shot. That one's already slated for next June 26, 2026. Like, okay, so there's puzzle pieces moving here. Things are actually coming to fruition. And then there's Swamp Thing, this film that I don't know. It feels like it's an offshoot, but it's supposed to be a part of it. I don't know. But anyways, I feel like he's been very true to his word. And even when he was working on Superman and we didn't know much about Waller, everyone was asking about Peacemaker season 2, and he clearly said, I believe it was in a tweet, that I'm going to work on Peacemaker 2 after I finish Superman. And boom, voila, Peacemaker 2 is coming out this August. Like, so we may not have got release dates, but we got the idea, the format of what's going to happen with each of these projects, and they are in some form of development at the moment. He is such an incredible storyteller, man. If you look back at Guardians, the found family stuff, the way he's able to tell these endearing stories, but also make them kind of weird and push the envelope as far as he can in terms of wherever he's at. You know, Guardians obviously was a space drama, space opera thing, and to take the Suicide Squad and be like this incredible, another found family situation, but also have kaiju in there and everything. Like it felt like an audition for Superman. Like that movie is so awesome, but like he's such a good storyteller. I get why the script is king to him, why he wants to put all his marbles in that basket to make sure, hey, we're not going in here half-assed. And sure, there's other films that benefit from that. Mission Impossible, we hear all the rumors that they don't really have finished scripts when they get started. Like, and then the MCU, they actually have blocked off weeks where they go back and reshoot. And you could tell, even in their heyday of phases 1, 2, and 3, that are those brilliant films that are endlessly rewatchable, there are kind of duct taped together in a way. Like they had a little idea and then they patched it a little bit more. They worked on it a little bit more and then they got what they got. And it just happened to work out brilliantly, right? And so it obviously it happens. There's in Batman Part 2, we haven't got it because there's no finished script, or at least maybe they only see one draft. I don't know exactly, but the script hasn't been turned in. They're waiting on that. They can't wait to see it. They're still rooting for the Batman Part 2 to come out. I don't know if it's because of contracts. I don't, instead of them going, we're not going to do this, but there seems to be like they're going to make it happen. Like, we got to do a part 2. We got to do a part, like, and it's an Elseworld world film, Batman Part 2. It has nothing to do with the DCU. This is a totally separate Batman from the Batman that we're supposed to get with Batman Brave and the Bold, right? And so the thing that we found out is that they're working on a Wonder Woman script. Of course they are. They're probably working on many scripts at the moment, trying to see which one is actually going to get the traction to be made into a full-length feature film. We need Wonder Woman, though, right? Because the DC universe is, if you don't have your Trinity, then what? Like, so the Superman's coming out. We know Batman's on the horizon. We need to know more about Wonder Woman. So obviously those three are like essential to this universe. I don't know if they want to necessarily introduce them all late in the game, but I feel like, of course, they would be working on a Wonder Woman script. That makes sense. But nothing further. Nothing else. Like everything's being worked on. And I love the patience that they have. They're not rushing it. And maybe they don't have the pressure just yet. Maybe we have to wait till to see what kind of success Superman has, what kind of success Supergirl has, for the studio to be like, all right, guys, we need to hammer out, 10 more projects this year. What's going on? Who knows? But I'm really enjoying James Gunn and Peter Safran's approach at the moment. It'll be 3 years ago this October since they were announced as co-CEOs of DC Studios, and they've been methodical. They've taken their time and they haven't rushed anything. Granted, they had to finish promoting the remaining DC EU projects that included The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, and that last one came out in December of 2023. In 2024, they premiered Creature Commandos, and it was like this little appetizer of sorts that was kind of cool to see, but Superman is the meal. That's the one we're going to get to see how the universe is set up, what it will look like, and how it will feel, the tone, and I can't wait. My excitement level is turned up because they're going to deliver something really remarkable. Tickets are on sale now for Superman. I can't wait to see this movie, man. It's so palpable. It's here. The tangibilization, which John Campea, that's his thing, but it's actually here. Like, oh my gosh. And to go back to listen to the podcast and hear David and I talk about, I don't know how they're going to make that July 11, 2025 date. And here it is. They're going to make their deadline. Like, amazing. I can't wait to see this movie. My anticipation level is like, it's like in-game level. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm just genuinely excited for this film. I think it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's got a lot of great action. And I want to be in that world of goodness of Superman, like that great character that you can mine so much from. So tickets went on sale on Tuesday for Prime members. You could get tickets for July 8th. And so I had a tough time. I mean, it took an hour 15 minutes just to try to get tickets because there was an additional theater added to my local location, I guess. And that one in particular, I really wanted to go to because they had an IMAX screening. And every time I would go, it would show that all the seats were available. But every time I would click on a seat, I went through the whole theater, they would say, someone already bought this or whatever. And I was like, oh, man, okay, maybe they just didn't open it up yet. I don't know. We just got to be patient. I just kept clicking. Click. And then luckily, boom, finally, I go back in. It's like 12:15. I like started at 11. And I see that the seat that I really wanted was gone, but then the seats next to it was right there, like right in the middle-ish. And I was like, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then I was like, I had gift cards too. And I was like, scratching them, like trying to get it done. And then, and I just hope it's not a double booking. You know what I mean? How it goes. Sometimes you do tickets at the same time. Oh my gosh, I would be so heartbroken. That's why I'm going to show up super early so that no one can say, "Oh, you have my seats." Oh, no, double booked. Sorry. No, I won't be that. I'll be respectful, I promise. But I will be really disappointed if it's double booked. Um, it shouldn't be, right? It happened to me one other time when I went to go see Furious 7 that it was a double booking. So I hope it doesn't happen with Superman. Um, and then the next day, Superman, all the tickets go on sale on Wednesday. And so you can buy for the weekend and all that stuff. And they also put out a new trailer, an amazing trailer, an action packed trailer. The first teaser that came out was this nostalgia, feel the goodness coming from the screen of this, the awesome guitar score. And then the second trailer, I'm going to skip over the teaser, the preview one, but the second trailer had the interview, and you're like this intense, like, wow, we're going to have these kind of cool conversations between what Superman is, what he should and should not intervene with, and like we're going to have that Civil War conversation with Superman, and it's coming from Lois Lane. Whoa, this is intense, and it had some great action sequences shown in that one too, but this one's all action. This is all like, look at this, guys. You're going to see this. Whew, whew, look at him fly. He looks amazing. Look at this cool new shot of seeing someone fly. Holy smokes. Then also, we're going to show you, his laser eyes. Look at him go. And then we're going to show, what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to also have Crypto take off a helmet of a bad guy, and Superman's going to punch him, and his teeth is going to hit the lens. And it's going to be like, whoa, this is so cool. This is so awesome. And yeah, it got me so hyped. And then Lex Luthor, though. This is what I loved about this trailer, is that they actually highlighted Lex Luthor the most, because they let him speak. And it was like, wow. And his speech pattern and all, because Nicholas Hoult, he played Beast in X-Men movies. He's been in Mad Max Fury Road. He is such a good actor. And it feels like seeing him as Lex Luthor, it was like, oh, that was perfect. Like, I get it. Like, you tried to be Batman and Robert Pattinson got the role. I could believe that. You tried to be Superman, and then they're like, yeah, what about Lex? And it's like perfect casting. Like, it just you feel it in the 10, 15 seconds that he's in the trailer. In that moment when he goes, oh, they chose him, let them die. Like, oh my gosh. It looks so exciting. And it just looks like a great polar opposite situation between Lex and Superman. And I can't wait to see that. And then they did this awesome interview, because the tickets went on sale. So Fandango got to do an interview with David Cornsweet, Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Brosnahan, and James Gunn. And it's with Perry Nemiroff from the Collider days, man. I never worked for Collider, so I'm just a fan of Collider back when they had Collider Movie Talk and Collider Live and all that stuff. That's where I was introduced to Perry Nemiroff, and she's such a cool reporter, review lady. And so the thing that I liked about that interview is, well, first off, getting the perspective from David Cornsweet about the trunks, right? And he, how Superman uses it to appear silly, even though he's all powerful. And I get that. And then, of course, Lois Lane being this awesome reporter, and how she's able to go toe to toe despite the relationship between her and Clark. And then Nicholas Hoult, the description of Lex Luthor and how everything that Superman has is what he wants and what he was trying to get. And Superman comes in and takes that all away from him. And that's where it causes the tension between the two characters. And then the other thing was James Gunn talking about how in this alternate universe, for 300 years, superheroes have already existed. We're just showing up in a metropolis where Superman's been Superman for 3 years. And that's where we are. And so this world just feels like it's going to be this universe that's filled. There's no question about it. There's no maybe surprise villains, absolutely, but when it comes to heroes, it's not like a new one's popping up, or we're going to be getting all these kind of origin movies. Like, I feel like we're going to really be like, we're just going to be dropping in on characters unless it really calls for an origin story. But I feel like we're going to be just dropping in on characters and continuing where that story goes, because we're kind of done with origin stories, and probably this all builds up to an origin story of the Justice League. In reality, that's probably what this is all going to be about. That's the origin story that they're building to, Justice League. And I have a few ideas. Obviously, the Trinity is going to be a part of it. It's got to be, right? And I have a sneaky feeling they're going to get a Green Lantern. But I don't know anybody else. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go with Flash or Cyborg or Aquaman. But well, Supergirl apparently is really important as well. So maybe she's a member of Justice League for a bit, or I don't know. Listen. I don't want to speculate. I just want to say that I'm super excited for Superman. I can't wait for July 8th. I'm going to be there just with my friends, and we're just going to have a good time. I can't wait. So that's this week's episode of The Weekly Reference. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, say hi. Go ahead and tell me what you think of James Gunn's comments regarding Superman and the power of good. Let me know what you think about his take on whether or not movies get made based on script approval. And then, of course, tickets are on sale now for Superman. Did you get your tickets? How excited are you? Are you excited as I am? I can't wait to see this movie. But until then, guys, I'll see you guys next week.